Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome to the new map of 8.10. This is Hidden Village. It's a map that's meant to be set in Japan. And just look at this absolutely fantastic map. It's an absolute beauty. It's probably the best looking map that they have done. It really is astoundingly beautiful. And when you're going to be playing it on the regular server, which is starting very soon, then I really hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. Now, apart from the beauty of this map, let's look at it from a tactical side. Okay, as you can see here, those buildings are destructible. Don't worry about that bug. That's a very weird bug that's happening because of the replay being from a slightly different test server version. We can see that there are loads of rocks to hide behind here. There's an opportunity for strong positions to be taken in artillery cover. There are also some undulations and some trees that you can use for camo rating. The map is very linear. I expect that a lot of people will be using this position to gain a hold down advantage and shoot on their opponents and still have some cover from artillery. So that effectively is the middle of the map. Those rocks are the middle of this, what I would call this heavy / medium progression alleyway down here. You can see there are lots of opportunities for you to hide behind mounds, get into strong positions. This is an excellent position for trying to go hold down, and you even got a push to use to get the jump on enemies as they're approaching you. There are also areas inside the cliff face that you can even hide in, which will be very interesting as well. All of these buildings are destructible. There's also a very interesting area like over here as an example that you could hide in and use as an ambush. However, once you've been spotted really, then you're in a bit of a floundering position. Now the cap circle is completely open. As you can see, there's a building inside this red cap circle. It is destructible, so I recommend that at the start of the game you try and drive through it, so you take it out so that the enemies cannot make a use of it. I didn't find any non-destructible buildings on this map, so you can use that to your advantage. So, now we've gone along the upper route. You basically saw, if you look at the map with my mouse cursor for a second, the upper route there. Now you can take the upper route along the road, or you can divert from the road and be able to sneak around this rock here. Interestingly, what we're taking a look at here is the lower road, the lower route, so to say. This is going to be a lot more interesting because look how open it is. Now, fair enough, there are some undulations to use. You can, for example, use this undulation and use your excellent gun depression, especially if you're driving the new Japanese tanks, to be able to shoot the enemies as they have to cross a very large and very open area with very little cover, very little hard cover. It's got soft cover in the form of the divots. However, really, unless you've got the gun depression, the positions could be quite hard to use. So as we can see, there are a series of opportunities to change from what I would call the upper route to the lower route. These are good opportunities as well to shoot down into the town, which I'll be showing you later. This is a very interesting position, one of my favorites. It's a hard cover position that gives you lots of opportunities to avoid fire from artillery. And you can also poke around in and shoot anyone that really goes through this sort of upper-lower route, or the middle route. We'll call it the middle route. So now we just saw how easy it is to progress aggressively down the slope. So if you've decided to start on the upper or the middle route, you can easily change the lower route and use these kind of undulations. There are some opportunities for hard cover. Basically, as we can see here, going back into the sniper mode there for a second, that this really will, this lower route will really do people with gun depression proud. It's almost designed for the new Japanese tanks with their very high gun depression. However, there are still opportunities to hide behind rocks and get in some hard cover. Okay, so now we're going to be going into the town. You can see here that there's sort of a fjord, so to say, that you can cross over. Watch out, this bit is deep. Try not to drown in it. but as you can see, we're able to get across there fairly quickly. Again, this map is absolutely stunning, but let's not focus on that right now. Let's focus on the fact that we are in the town. And on the map, it looks like it could be a bit thicker, as in more dense. You think the buildings could be more dense together. However, one thing that we've just found out is that the buildings are actually very sparse, and that means that there's going to be lots of opportunities from the middle to the north to shoot down into the town. So I didn't get to play this map enough to really be able to give you right now any kind of specific places that I found are strong, but I recommend going to the north rather than the south of the town. The north of the town, there are just so many more buildings that the south will have to shoot through from the ridgelines up here. However, if you go along the south of the town, you might struggle because there are so many opportunities from the people who are on the higher ground to shoot down at you. And really, they're the people who can decide when the engagement happens. They can pull back from the passes here, and they can make a strong advantage of taking you out. So you see, we're just messing around with the fact that you are now able to shoot APCR and AP rounds through cover. I'm going to be releasing another video on that, so keep tabs. Look at that, going through 2 pieces of cover there. We'll highlight that in another video. So, I don't think I'm going to be using the town very much, because really I felt that the buildings were just so spread out that it's going to be very hard to progress between the buildings without getting shot at. And the fact that the buildings are now all destructible means that you can also have a really bad time from that. But more importantly, it's going to be the fact that because the buildings are so spread out, the people who take the higher ground are going to have the opportunities down into the village. Also, I'm going to show you right now just why I don't like the village. Okay, so let's say that you've gone through the village, you've fought it out, you've done some serious damage to the enemy, you've taken some hits though, and now you're trying to progress to the enemy base. Alright, firstly you have a river that you have to cross again unless you want to take this middle bridge area along here. If you take the middle bridge area, you're sort of coming out of the map right in the middle, open to fire, in my opinion, from quite a few directions. So say you want to progress straight into the enemy base along the route that it's sort of trying to encourage you to take. Well, firstly, you have to go over a river. So unless you're in the luxury of being in a very fast medium tank like me, it's going to slow you down a fair bit. Also, you have to go up these gentle gradients here, which are going to slow you down as well. We've just had to cover a best part of 100 or 200 meters to get from here to here. You're going to get shot from all angles, unless you're fast enough to be able to get through this area really quickly, like the new SDP-1 is. If you're in, say, a heavy tank, which generally heavy tanks will like to gravitate towards the town, if you're spotted when you come out of here, then you're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble, because you're in a completely open area, which basically can be shot from nearly every part of the higher ground on the map. And if you, say, make it across that fjord, so to say, then the building there is still destructible. So you better get into one of these undulations. Now, this is where you kind of want to get to. You want to get into a position like this. You want to try and race across and try and get into an undulation where hopefully it's going to be harder for the enemies to shoot you. Of course, flanking here is going to be beneficial to the brave, because you really could get some devastating shots on the enemy artillery, which is very open for the artillery. It's going to be quite a hard place for the artillery to hide. And also, you're going to be able to flank around again, and then if the enemies are still stuck in a stalemate that might happen in the middle and the upper route, then you're going to be able to get flanking shots at. So as we can see again, the cap circle is very open. Try and take out all the buildings if you can, otherwise you're going to have a serious trouble to stop somebody from capping later on. So now just to show you guys the middle of the lower area, we can see there are some buildings that you're able to hide behind. They're not hard cover. And then this is the bridge. So if you want to try and avoid using the water, you can use this bridge. Feels more like a visual feature to me. If you use this bridge, you're really going to leave yourself up into a huge variety of positions that the enemies are going to be able to put fire down upon you. I'm I'm kind of baffled at the difficulty that there is going to be that once you've committed to the town to try and getting off it. The fact that you have to cross a river going into it, you have to cross a river going out of it, and then you have to leave yourself in large open areas to be taken advantage of. However, I still think that it's possible, but those kind of faster heavies are going to have a much better time than the slower heavies. I feel that maybe what's going to happen instead is that the mediums are going to think about going into the town, and that the heavies are going to actually do the fighting up on the upper road that we were highlighting earlier. Anyway, that's it from me in this beautiful STB1 tank on this absolutely amazing new hidden village map set in Japan. Really is very beautiful, and I really can't wait to be seeing how it plays out on the live server. My final tips for you are to try and progress aggressively to this rock and to this position here. Spot the enemies who are not moving as quickly as you, at least at the start, and take pot shots at them from hold down locations here and from behind the rocks here. Get your early damage and kills done, and then if the enemy decide to flank you through the town, pull back to any series of passes along here and rain death upon them as they make themselves very vulnerable. Anyway guys, I hope this video has been useful to you. If it has, please consider rating it down below, and let me know what you think about this new map in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, you've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.